Chapter 1. Born in Poverty. Life in the Hope neighborhood was marked by harsh irony, as the name stood in stark contrast to the dark reality devoid of the sun's hope. Here, amidst the winding alleys and crumbling houses, where despair ruled among its inhabitants, Khaled was born. In this neighborhood, everyone lived on the margins of existence, struggling every day for survival. There was nothing to promise a better future. Dreams for the people here were merely a means to stay alive, something to catch their heavy breaths against an unyielding reality. Since Khaled's arrival in this world, every detail of his life pointed to poverty. A small crumbling house with a roof full of holes letting rain pour in during winter, and a floor consumed by dampness with each passing day. In this house lived his family, burdened by endless debts. His father, a former construction worker, could no longer work after suffering a severe back injury on the job. He lay in bed most of the time, groaning from pain they could not afford to treat. Meanwhile, his mother did her best to secure a living, leaving every morning on a grueling journey, selling milk from door to door. Khaled's mother worked from dawn until dusk. She carried buckets of milk in her hands, walking through the neighborhood's alleys, calling out with a hoarse voice in a desperate attempt to attract her few customers. She sold milk to the poor like herself, who had little to spare, making her earnings barely enough to provide food for each day. It was not easy for her, but she never complained. She knew she had to be strong for Khaled and her ailing husband. Every day she returned home exhausted, her clothes dusty, and her hands cracked from work, but what weighed on her more than all that was the feeling of frustration growing inside her, a sense of helplessness against a life that offered her only pain. Despite her fatigue, she always tried to keep a glimmer of hope alive in front of her son Khaled. She would often tell him, "Khaled, dreams are the only things that no one can take away from us. Keep dreaming, for there may come a day when our lives change." But those words sounded to him like a distant echo. He understood that dreaming in this place was not enough. He watched her return every day, defeated, with a tired face and eyes brimming with tears she hid from him. From a young age, Khaled was unlike other children. His mind was always filled with questions, searching for meaning in the harsh world he was born into. Why did he and his family live in such misery while others resided in palaces? Why did his father work tirelessly only to end up disabled while some lived without a care? He felt that there was something unjust about this world, yet he did not know how to understand it or change it. In the neglected corners of the neighborhood, there was a small library managed by an old man named Uncle Ibrahim. Despite its age and the dust-covered, abandoned books, Khaled found a refuge from his difficult reality. He would go there whenever he got the chance, sitting in the library's corners, reading passionately, escaping from the poverty that surrounded him. The books took him to faraway places, to worlds without the confines of poverty and hunger. But the books that truly ignited his passion were not those about history or literature. They were the ones that spoke of technology and the future. He read about computers and networks, how these small machines could change the world. He felt that technology was the key to breaking free from his reality. He dreamed of owning his own computer, but that dream seemed impossible given their financial situation. Yet, despite this, Khaled refused to surrender. He began visiting internet cafes in neighboring areas, spending countless hours in front of outdated computer screens. He learned programming through free online lessons, diving into the intricate world of networks and complex systems. For Khaled, technology was more than just a means of knowledge. It was his escape. Each time he sat before a computer, he felt as though he was drifting further away from his reality. The digital world became his sanctuary, a place where he could control something in his life, no matter how small it was. He began to program codes, solve equations, and search for vulnerabilities in systems as if he were discovering strands of freedom. The liberty he felt was something he missed in his real life, yet found within this virtual realm. As time passed, Khaled started to believe that this newfound knowledge could grant him true power. He read about cyber attacks and major hacks, beginning to grasp how technology could become a weapon in the hands of those capable of wielding it. In his young mind, an idea began to form. The world was not as it appeared, and those who held wealth and power were not necessarily invincible.